town of Day Dawn, 1908. Alfred Canning sets out on a most ambitious task: to build a system of wells that stretches over 1,500 kilometers across some of Australia's harshest terrain. Canning and his men excavated 26 wells of the 52-well system. Work first began with Canning surveying the area in 1903, and the system was completed 7 years later. The wells were reconditioned in 1930 and again in 1942. In 1983, from Perth in Western Australia, another expedition will travel north to Meekatharra and then Newman, before striking eastwards to the Canning stock route and well number 26. Now, 75 years after Canning set out, a fourth expedition led by David Hewitt prepares to reconstruct well 26 to commemorate the vision of Canning and his men. The expedition will take 25 tons of equipment, not the least being 60 kilograms of meat, 40 kilograms of flour, and enough tea and coffee to make 1,500 cups. The majority of the load will consist of timber and troughing for the well. In charge of reconstruction is Harry Gough, and like most members of the expedition, this is Harry's first journey into the arid north. Accompanying the expedition is biologist Mike Bamford, who will study the flora and fauna of the sand dunes surrounding the well site. Besides the many tons of equipment and food, the expedition will need to take on 6,000 litres of fuel, 10 drums of dieseline and 20 of petrol for the anticipated round trip of 3,500 kilometres. From Newman, the expedition will travel to 2 cattle stations and then onto the Tallawarna track before turning off and snaking through the dunes to behind well 26. Once past Newman, the sealed road gives way to 4-wheel drive motoring on soft dirt tracks. Apart from transport, the expedition has, of course, another advantage over Canning and his men: communication. The expedition will remain in contact with the outside world by means of 2-way radio.
When I was 14 years old, I went up to Canning.
At Ethel Creek Station, David speaks to an old drover who used to work on the stock route.
Was that the time Mrs. Lanigan went with them?
Mrs. Lanigan came down the stock road only. She didn't go up. She went by boat.
Yeah, I think that was 1939, wasn't it? Because she wrote something on her trip. She was supposed to be the only white woman who ever travelled on.
Yeah, I believe that's true. Although someone did say that Daisy Bates was supposed to have come down either part of the Canning or the whole of it, I'm not sure, but this is, I mean, it's...
She was certainly driving cattle around in the country, but, you know, sort of where she actually got to, we're not sure.
After enjoying country hospitality, the expedition moves off to meet its Aboriginal guides and camp for the night at Oak Over River. The next day, the expedition encounters a few of the many dunes found along the stock route. The dunes run east to west, forming a natural barrier which must be crossed. With the last dune breached, the expedition camps for the night. Some 5 days after leaving Perth, the expedition arrives at its destination. Like most of the wells along the Canning stock route, little remains of the structure surrounding the well mouth. Only the whip pole and the frail well timbers remind us of Canning's presence at this site 75 years ago. Well 26 is known to the Aborigines as Tiwa, meaning place of water and life.
What did you call him? Tiwa, isn't it?
I don't know. Can't find any, but they've obviously been having a go at it.
Gee, I can't see any sign of the goanna, Mike. He must have either drowned or somebody's pulled him out.
Didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
Up to about here, David. Up to your what?
Yeah. Oh. Make sure we don't fall in this time, then. Coming off? Yep.
The group is now 560 kilometers from Newman. The expedition will be split into two groups. One section will excavate the well, while the other clears the area and measures and cuts new timbers. After only a few hours of digging, the expedition uncovers one of the well buckets from the last reconstruction.
Surprising, really, to have lasted that long.
A platform will be built inside the well to allow easier removal of the old timbers. It was decided that the original native desert oak timber used by Canning be replaced by timbers not indigenous to the area. Such action would assist the survival of the existing desert oaks. Tiwa's original depth was 8 meters, but over the years, desert winds have blown sand and debris into its shaft. The team will need to remove 3 meters of thick black sludge before the water is drinkable. Three days later, and the first of the 6.5 tons of well linings are placed in position. Away from the well site, Mike sets his ground traps. Any insect or small animal reaching the wire net will automatically move along this barrier until they fall into the witches' hats. Another trap is the mist net. This is used to collect a wide variety of specimens, from small birds to bats.
Oh, wow. Oh, God. Go over into the spin effect. That's it. Come on.
After measurement and examination, most of Mike's subjects are returned to the wild.
That's one of the little standard up the Sphinx I'm very interested in. Which was excited, didn't I? Can't you make him that ball bite?
Day 5. With the wellhead completed, the expedition moves on to the next stage of reconstruction, while other members make final preparations to ensure that all is ready for tomorrow morning, when they'll attempt to find Canning's old campsite.
What about the other hole? Is that all
What, 2 more holes?
One on the top. I've got to get it so that there's 2 of them.
Another one over the side.
I have to get it so that the line on the front board is 300 millimeters into this edge timber.
Tiwa will be reconstructed authentically, even with a whip pole which was used as a fulcrum to bring large amounts of water to the surface via a rope horse system.
Right, that's it. If you drop this head down, good as it really that end up. How's it going?
Good. Got to go that way.
Which one?
Check.
Oh, Tim, I've got to go down a lot. Switch it back this way. Back this way, Harvey. You've got to come back a long way yet. Which way, Tim? It's got to go deeper. We've made it a bit deeper to try and get it more leverage. We need more leverage at the top. That's it. Drop this head down. Good as it really that end up.
This will be funny. Look at the squeaky boys.
You can come back this way a bit. Come back this way a bit now.
We're going to get out from there, Harry.
To the east of Tiwa, a few members of the search party continue their quest for Canning's old campsite. Back at the site, the ungracious task of hand-bucketing the black ooze from the interior continues.
I'll get inside there, eh?
You volunteer, Reg?
Yes, I'll volunteer. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, looks like you have to go on
The
top
search
there.
party nears its destination. After taking a star fix at Tiwa, they've traversed towards the old campsite by plotting points taken from Canning's own journal. Because of the flat terrain, the surveyors are forced to make use of their vehicles as high platforms so that bearings can be taken.
You're very close.
Finally, the campsite is reached, and Ian Johnson is rewarded for his many hours of research by discovering possible evidence of Canning's presence in the area.
That'll be the right age too.
That'd be the early this century. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be here, and this would have washed down the creek for sure.
So it could be up that way.
We'll just walk up the creek, see if we can see something else. Brilliant! You're beauty. Paul! Bring up that metal detector again. Brian, you up? Thank you. It's even got the winder on this one, Brian. Fantastic, look at that. Still got the key on the winder. Still got the key on the lead winder. In good condition.
The party has cleared the well of the black sludge. They will now need to pump the well dry so as new fresh water will flow in and make the water drinkable. A few kilometers to the southeast, at a place where Canning once explored for water, stands a group of mesas, ancient relics of the land's past. And here the party collects rocks for a cairn to be built next to the well. the center of the cairn will be a replica of one of the water tanks that Canning used during his journeys into the desert. With most of the heavy toil now behind them, the expedition takes the day off to enjoy more urban pursuits.
Yes, Joe, quick.
Yes?
Yes, got him. Hold on, Joe. Oh, yes. Come on, look at hello. Oh.
Crisp night tonight.
Done a great job there, Reg.
Oh, like spit polishing up the well.
Yep.
He's only one.
Tons of sand are brought to reinforce the well head. Hopefully, the raised site will prevent debris from drifting into the shaft. Next, the windlass, which is used to draw water by bucket, is secured in place.
It'll come right through.
It's flattened out that tin. Good.
Suddenly, on the 8th day, the well site becomes the focal point as news spreads of the well's completion. A tour party, unable to cross the last of the dunes, is brought in by David and other members of the expedition for the well's opening. Bert Crane, MLA, should arrive also this afternoon, and in the morning he'll officially open the well.
There you go.
I'd just like to ask Bert to come forward and open the cairn and the monument to Alfred Canning, which we've constructed also. Thank you, Bert.
Well, thank you, Harry Gough and Ivan and David Hewitt. It's probably a
The
long
days of
time.
cattle droving have long since passed, but the reconstruction of Well 26 has taken on a new significance. Today, Tiwa has become a modern oasis guaranteeing water to the weary traveller. Tiwa is made anew by the pioneers of today.
I have much pleasure in unveiling to Alfred Canning this cairn which shows the plaque on either side which tells a story, and also the camel water tank which was made especially for this. So I present you the last of our great explorers, Alfred Canning.
The man who pioneered the Canning stock route was a man of few words. On completing the mammoth task in 1910, he sent a telegram to his principals which read, "Task completed, Canning."